This evening. Firstly, I'd like to recognize Chief Yinka Ugumekan, the past president, Lagos Country Club. Please, a round of applause for him. I'd like to recognize Dr. Paul Alaji, Chief Economist and Partner, SBM Professionals Limited. Please, a round of applause for him too. I hope you will soon join us here. Private Sector and Chairman Alliance. Please, every time a round of applause for him. Join me to recognize Mr. Sheyi Adewumi, President, Lagos Country Club. I'm going in that particular direction, and I would like to recognize the representative of the Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, in his capacity here, Honorable Akinyemi Bankole Ajibotofe, Honorable Commissioner, Minister of Wealth Creation and Employment, Lagos. Oliver Ogbonna, Member, Board of Trustees, LCC. Please, a round of applause. I'd like to recognize that this
must also be platform for national progress. It aligns with our vision to promote intellectual engagement, support national development through constructive discourse, provide a collaborative space where leaders can conceive, innovate, and inspire solutions beyond the bounds of the club. Today, we are discussing a theme that touches every household, every business, every shop floor, and every sector of our economy. Inflation, cost of living, and consumer purchasing power, adaptive strategies for Nigerians. Here, we'll be rewarding, insightful, impactful, and productive. Enjoy every moment of the forum. God bless you, and God bless our nation. Thank you.
But we don't need reading it now. But I believe the House has taken its apologies. Are we together? Merci beaucoup. C'est bien reçu. We'll now move on straight with the remarks by our special guest of honor. We have two of them. And the first to be coming from the Commissioner, Minister of Wealth Creation and Employment, Honorable Akinyemi Bankole Ajibotofe. Please put your hands together for Honorable Commissioner.
A round of applause. It's not an easy task. Member Board of Trustees, Lagos State Club, all their Chief Olivia Ogbonna. You're welcome, sir. The President Nasima, represented by Engineer Dr. Shola Obadimo. Distinguished member of Lagos Country Club here present. Gentlemen of the press, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, I say good evening. Of our cost of living crisis leader, food prices, the backbone of our CPI basket, have dipped to 13.12% year on year. But daily meals are now calculated sacrifice. Yes, we know it's hard here. It's hard in Nigeria for now. But I know with time, we'll come out of it. Ladies and gentlemen, inflation in Nigeria is no abstract force. It is the thief in the night that steals from our collective future. Driven by global shocks like supply chain disruptions, from the Russia-Ukraine conflicts, domestic factors such as fuel subsidy reforms and naira volatility, amongst other factors. In Lagos alone, where our state economy rivals that of the entire nation's economy, the ripple effects are acute. Rising rents, transport fares, and focus on compressed real incomes, with the living income benchmark for rural families now at about 400,000 naira monthly to afford a basic but decent standard, up by 210% from 2020 due to cumulative inflation as reported by Anchor Research Institute. Yet, amid this storm, we see glimmers of resilience. National GDP growth holding at 3.98% in third quarter internship placement program. Vocational centers, our ICT skills training for 200 employees equipped participants with cutting-edge digital tools to access remote work and gig economics, as well as specialized ops like the leather Senator Oluremi Tinubu led out, the one that's finishing Matori. This initiative, not
Very much for that remark. Going further, I'd like to recognize the Managing Director, Nament Pharmaceuticals, Mr. Valentine Okelu. Please put your hands together for him. You're most welcome, sir. Thank you very much for being here. Okay, we have with us the headline sponsor for this event, Wema Bank PLC.
Signature cards with access to 1,200 different markets worldwide. There's insurance and purchase protection as a travel. Exclusive invites to premium networking events. Personalizing the fundamental solutions with personal portfolios. Fast-track proprietary service and a lot of solutions designed intentionally for you. Because at Wema, our goal is to help you truly live life. Prestige by Wema, the exclusive banking proposition for the top 1%.
SARS and MARS. As earlier introduced, my name is Olutayo Oladipo. I work with Wema Bank. I'm the group head, Diaspora Banking and High Value Savings. Let me specially greet the speakers, the guest speakers, good evening, sirs. Okay, so as the previous speaker said something on inflation. He said we should rally around Lagos State to support whatever they are doing in Lagos. So he said private bank, he said individual, corporate, sir, how did you put it? I forgot it, the banking industry. So while I'm here today is just to let us know that Wema Bank is ready.
Ihe ede na ahọta ihe odumoju ihe ga-agara n'ụkọ ọma ka nchọpụta na ma ụmụ ndị na-ahọta ihe m na-ekwu Igbo kwenu. Oge netwọk juru eju n'ebe ahụ ọdụ ama mụ na ndị Yoruba ka ha bụ ajọs na-aza Igbo kwenu kwezi onu mma mmanụ. My name is Adedeji Otulesi Omo Ijebu Ombele.
To talk about tonight affects all of us. We are all involved. We are experiencing whether rich, poor, old or young. We are all affected. So I go straight to the topic, which is the business of the day: inflation, cost of living, and consumer purchasing power. The first question we should ask ourselves: we are all living in Nigeria. Every day we hear GDP growth. And I've tried to take GDP to the market. They could not even buy me here. So whatever they are talking about that GDP has grown or the inflation has come down, but it translates to food or money in our pockets, or it doesn't devalue our savings. It means nothing to the poor man. Even the rich, even the government will tell you when there's inflation, they have to project more money. That's why you see when they go for what we call supplementary budget. Because the initial plan has been eroded. So what is the issue or what is the problem why Nigerians are not able to get value? Not very far from here as a young boy, I used to come to Fela's shrine. You remember that song? He said the man want to buy machine. Every time he tries to buy, government will have 10 naira. So he goes the second day, we have 10 naira. Eventually the man could not buy the machine. And the man don't really don't die. So this is what inflation is all about in a very simple terms. And we ask ourselves for us to discuss it and put two slides there to show you that when this government came in 2023, the first 6 months, the first slide you see, this is the first slide, where you have the graph there, you see that Naira was about, in the official market, about 426. About 426 or about 446 in the official market, while the bank market was 7%, or did not have access to loans. So according to the MPRO rate is currently 27%, it used to be 27.5. So what it means is it was difficult for businesses to borrow at over 30%. But unfortunately, the public sector, who had more money, I'm serious, had far more money they ever had, they were even borrowing more. They started issuing bonds, creating more money. You know what that means? Demand pull. So, apart from the fact that they were taking what was belonging to the private sector, they also went into the market and started borrowing. So, it's like water past Garina. The average private sector could not. So that's why you saw most of some of your multinationals who have been in Nigeria for over 60 years, they left because they saw everything as hopeless. And indeed, several of our brands were put into poverty because of this. So what has happened is, even in spite of all that, the 3 companies I mentioned just now, Dangote, he took $20 billion, created a value. So today, the reason for our stability is not necessarily because of the exchange rate. Unlike in England or even in the US, once you move a small percentage in interest rate, it will affect everything. But in third world like Nigeria, it's not the major impact, because and the other things I'll teach you later. But after you go pay title when you start generating. So we have the security trap. Banks refuse to lend to the real sector, so the economy does not grow. And they now started dealing with the same government. In your head now, the CBN just sold 600 billion at 10 years ahead, and they will increase the yield. So banks are so happy, it's free money. And the highest payer of interest rate, who is it in Nigeria? It's government. In our last national budget, a quarter of the budget went 14 trillion went into payment of loans. So banks are that's why you don't allow bankers to go near your central bank. Because every banker is always calculating interest. You see them with their calculator. If they are sleeping, they carry calculator. They are standing, they carry calculator. It's interest they are calculating. So that's why you don't allow bankers to go near your central bank. You normally put the economists. Because it's a collusion. I'm not saying it to our but there is a level of cooperation. The CBN gains, the bankers gain. From this current policy, it's me and you that we are being flogged every day. So there's also the issue of policy uncertainty. Let's go further down. I put the picture of the Minister of Finance and the Minister of the Central Bank Governor. As Nasima president, I used to encourage 2 of them to spend more time together. The problem we are having is CBN is saying they are independent. We went to National Assembly one day where I dragged, as president of Nasima, I dragged CBN because I'm so aware of 2.4 billion. With the CBN recently, they took money at 500 naira to $1. They returned it this year at 500 naira to $1 after keeping it for over 2 years. Who pays the interest rate? Who pays the difference in this? And the CBN say he caught the people stealing or they committed some infraction. Do you return money to criminals? No, I'm asking you. Do you return money to criminals? You take them to court. That is a big problem. So banks will collapse in this country because of that. But I can assure you the matter.
It's important for us to discuss what is getting to your household, what gets to your kitchen and steal from you, almost on annual basis or monthly basis. What is it about inflation? So I will start the presentation. I have the slide already, which I've given to the IT team, and I believe that they can help me. If you can start from the beginning of the slide, I would appreciate it. I would appreciate it when I take my introduction very quickly. I do not have luxury of time. Thank you. I'm deeply grateful for your invitation to reflect on the subject that touches on Nigeria household: inflation, the cost of living, and consumer purchasing power, and its adaptive strategy. Because of this topic, I will be speaking in 4 different areas. One will be the state of inflation and living cost in Nigeria. Number 2, I'll be speaking on why our consumers' purchasing power is the